Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om and good evening from Niagara Falls. And joyous New Year to all of you also. I flew back from Bharat this morning and am happy that we're able to continue our study of Atma Bodha. A text that is to be studied after Atma Bodha is known as Vivek Chudamani. It's a comprehensive text on Vedanta. And in this text, Acharya Shankara constantly uses an example of a waveless lake or a waveless ocean, whatever you're more familiar with. Whenever you think of a lake, there's always movement. Whenever you think of an ocean, there's always change. Pause and try to visualize that same body of water with no movement, with no change. And by doing so, we come to appreciate more about what our nature is. Our nature is consciousness. And thoughts are ripples in that consciousness. So by nature, there is steadiness. There is stillness. And when you throw a rock in a pool of water, there's ripples. Desires begin these ripples in the form of thoughts. The more rocks you throw into water, the more ripples there are, the more desires we have, the more thoughts there are. The important part being that our nature is that still consciousness. When we come to understand and appreciate who we are more clearly, we come to understand and appreciate that our nature is light. This light is transferred to equipments like the intellect, the mind, the body. And these equipments then create experiences. The intellect decides, the mind thinks, the body eats. Light, equipment, experience. I am light. These are equipments that unfortunately I think I am right now. And so I get lost in my experiences. If this relationship is clear, I don't get lost in my experiences then. I took a flight from Delhi to Toronto. It's 14 and a half hours. And I really enjoyed this direct flight. It moves fast. 12,000 kilometers. And why it moves fast is because you can watch a whole lot of movies without having to stop in Europe and go through security again. Now, as I was watching these movies, I knew that I was leaving Delhi, going to arrive in Toronto, that this is a movie. I'm on a plane, so this is enjoyable. But if I start to believe I'm in that movie, like one of the movies I watched was Ninjago. Now, what if I start to believe that I'm a Lego character and sharks are being shot at me and on and on and on? All of a sudden, my disorientation about who I am causes me great fear, great stress. And you're all laughing right now because that's an animated movie and you're on an airplane. But isn't that what we're doing right now? And don't we still have fear and stress? So should we be laughing at this example? We should be laughing at ourselves. These equipments are what are suffering from ignorance. These equipments are what are going to be enlightened. The ego specifically. The ego suffers. The ego is going to be saved. You are beyond both. And when we come to feel that, that is Atma Bodha. That's when I'm experiencing who I am. I feel the light then. Coming back to what we studied before the pause in our course. In Shloka 25, Acharya Shankara explains adhyasa. Adhi means near. Asa means sit. When you sit near someone, then you come to be associated with them, just by that closeness. When the light sits near an equipment, then there's a as if blending of that light and that equipment. Acharya Shankara here says, the Atma, the spirit, is of the nature of existence, of awareness. And the mind, the intellect, is of the nature of thoughts. And when these two come together, we feel, I know, and whatever that thought is of. Vacuum, weather, the person across from you. That I know is coming from the spirit. The thought is of the nature of the object. And I come to feel that this is who I am. I know this, I know that. When there can't be a relationship between light and darkness. There can't be a relationship between consciousness and that which is inert. This is a false relationship. I know that never changes. The thought is always changing, but what are we focused on? We keep focusing on that which changes. That's what brings us down. This person is judging me. I'm being judged. I'm not good enough. I'm better than that person. What about the I know, which is the same in me and in you, and in that animal, and in that plant? Creates a lot of unity then. The sutra for 25 was, I know the I know. The first I is capital, the second I is small. I know, that is existence awareness. The I know, that's the modification of the mind. In other words, our thoughts. In 26, Acharya Shankara explains upadhi. And it's a similar word to adhyasa. Upa again means near, and adi also means near. When we mistake that which is near us as us, that is called an upadhi. An upadhi means an equipment. My hand is an equipment. This pen is an equipment. The mind is an equipment. But this becomes an upadhi. There is a confusion of the equipment being me because I feel that there's a nearness. I feel that this is who I inevitably am, that I was born like this. Acharya Shankara is sharing all of this by, again, showing that the nature of Atman, the spirit, the light, and the nature of the equipment, the ego, the intellect, the mind, they're different. These are different. This nearness doesn't imply that I am that. I'm near this sweater, I'm still not this sweater. I'm near my skin, I'm still not the skin. The sutra for 26, like 25, believing the illusion is delusion. Believing the illusion is delusion. If you don't believe the illusion, in other words, you know what the light is and you know what the equipment is, then the equipment stays there and the light stays there. This is fun then, like a movie. But if I don't know that this is just an illusion, I start to suffer the same limitations of the characters in the movie, the nature of this body, that we're all getting older and older and older. And we studied one more shloka. In shloka 27, our classic rope snake example comes together. And here, Acharya Shankara says, there's a lot of fear when you mistake a rope as a snake. And in Vivek Chudamani, he says there's greater fear if you mistake a snake for a rope. That's even more dangerous then, isn't it? As long as we live a small life, I believe in the snake rather than the rope. I believe I'm the equipment rather than the light. As long as I live a small life, this will be characterized by worry. Now think for yourselves. We're only 11 days into 2018. Have you experienced worry already? I'm already worried about how this year is going to be because I'm oriented towards smallness. Because I don't know that there's an equipment and there's that which enlivens the equipment. When I was at Sandipani, someone had offered bhiksha. And so there's a special sweet at the end. And whenever there's bhiksha and there's a sweet, there's a lot of worry then that there's not going to be enough for you. So you quickly get your plate, eat lots of it, and then run back to get more. I'm worried there's not enough of that sweet that's going to be there. But when there's no bhiksha and there's no sweet, no worry. There's endless roti to be eaten. There's endless white rice to be eaten. Nobody's rushing back to get more and there's not going to be enough for you. There will. When we start to live a big life, then we stop worrying because in living a big life, I know that infinity is my nature. I know that infinite living is possible. Think big, feel big, identify big. Then smallness like worrying and selfishness, that all goes away. Again, when possible, when I know that I'm not the jiva, but I'm Ishvara. I am not alpa, which means small. I'm bhuma. I'm infinite. And only knowledge can help us with that. You can't create infinity. You can only know infinity. And the next 3 shlokas accentuate this more and more and more. Many would be thinking, we already know this. Why do we keep studying the same shloka again and again and again? You're right. But do you feel this? If you feel this, then this course is redundant for you. 2018, you should be thinking, what 2018? I'm timeless. I'm akala. But if you don't feel this, then we should have the humility that I need to hear this again. I need to think about this in this way. So you make the decision if you want to keep your camera on to continue with this class or not. And I will presume if you turn your camera off that you and Acharya Shankara are the same. My prostrations to you virtually for realizing that you are infinite. We're on Shloka 28. Atma vabhasayat yekaha buddhyadinindriyanyapi Deepo ghatadivat swatma jadaisternavabhasyate Atma vabhasayat yekaha buddhyadinindriyanyapi Deepo ghatadivat swatma jadaisternavabhasyate. Acharya Shankara says here, Atma avabhasayati ekaha. Atma we know means that which is closest. Avabhasayati means illumines. And you have to be careful with this word illumines because you presuppose that there's a relationship between the spirit and the equipment. Like I'm illuminating my hand or the glass. But my hand and glass is inconsequential. The Atman doesn't illumine, the Atman is illumination. There's a difference there. Just like, is the sun illuminating you right now? Is the sun illuminating America? We like to think that the sun is illuminating me, the sun is shining on America, when that's not true. The sun's nature is illumination. What's in front of that illumination is inconsequential. That just happens to be there. So avabhasayati, it's what is written is it illumines. Understand that illumination is the more accurate word. And naturally, the word ekaha means one. There is only one light, and that is you. The Veda, and more specifically Vedanta, is a course in reorienting who we are and how we think. This is a reorientation. Another word I've used is, it's a course in unlearning. Right now, we are stuck on knowledge of. I have knowledge of computer science. I have knowledge about what movies are playing. I have knowledge about how tomorrow is going to be. It's always knowledge of instead of knowledge. We're stuck on illuminating tomorrow, the thoughts, my eyes, the people around me, instead of thinking about illumination, my nature. We have to shift from being someone who has knowledge of, aware of, to that which is more fundamental, which is knowledge, which is awareness. The words that Swami Chinmayananda uses is objectless consciousness. I think that's what he says. Objectless consciousness. Whatever we are conscious, we're conscious of. But have you ever just been consciousness? Bringing this into practice. Whenever we listen to music, what else are we doing? Thinking about the past and future, eating, writing. But do you ever just listen to music? Even that small activity of listening to music is so difficult for us to just do that, which is why it's more difficult for us to just be aware, to be this objectlessness, this objectless consciousness. There's only one light, That's what's important. Everything in front of that light is not important or less important. What's in front of this light? Buddhyadinindriyanyapi. What's in front? The buddhi. The buddhi means the mind. The buddhi means the memory. The buddhi means the ego. The indriyas, seeing and tasting and smelling. This is what's in front of that light. And as we think about what's in front and what's behind, let's think about this in terms of independence. The light is the cause. The buddhi is the effect. Which depends on which? The effect depends on the cause, not the other way around. This takes us back further to the ocean is always changing, and we have to envision a changeless ocean. The change happens at the equipment level, the buddhi, not at the light level. Keep reflecting on that. Deepa gatadivat. I'm in the third quarter right now. Deepa gatadivat. Deepa means a lamp. Gata means a jar or a pot. Like a lamp illuminates a pot. Like a lamp illuminates a pot. There's one light, and in front of that light there could be lots of pots. A pot of honey, a pot of butter, a pot of yogurt. I have one light here and it's illuminating this glass of water, this pen, me, and everyone in front of me also. Keep relating that back to yourself. Bringing this to a more Puranic sense. Did they have electricity when Bhagavan Krishna was alive? Was electricity around? You have proof of that. We always read about Bhagavan Krishna going into people's homes and stealing butter, correct? And drinking yogurt and all of that. How was he able to see in that dark room? Because that yogurt has to be cold, correct? It's always hot in India, so that butter has to be like in a cellar. So how did he see? Bhagavan's nature is illumination, as I mentioned. And Bhagavan, whenever he would go into a dark place, his body would shine. Even though his skin was black, he would be glow in the dark. And that's what's so powerful is that, have you ever thought about black glowing in the dark? Green glows in the dark, yellow glows in the dark, but have you ever thought about black glowing in the dark? That's what's being shared here, is swatma. The nature of one's life, the nature of one's self illumines all that's in front of it because one's nature is illumination, like Bhagavan Krishna. There's no difference between Atma and Bhagavan Krishna. Acharya Shankara completes this thought. He says, Jadehi, that which is inert. What are some things that are inert? Not some things, everything. You can just start listing all. All is inert other than you. And that will come out very strongly in the next shloka. Na avabhasayati. This word is in the first quarter and the last quarter, which is illumination. That which is inert does not have illumination. It needs to be illumined. So now think. All that is inert around you, if you know that which is inert, what else has to be there? There has to be consciousness. There has to be awareness. And it's not the nature of that which is inert, which means this is your nature. The sutra for 28. One love, one heart. Where have you heard that before? One love, one heart. Nobody. You're all so old. And despite being old, you don't know good music. This is a song from Bob Marley. One love, one heart. He's saying that, if we all realize we have one heart, then we'd all be in love with each other. That's what Vedanta is teaching also. If we all realize that in our heart is that same light, then we would all be in love with each other. It doesn't have to be in this romantic way. If you romantically love one person, that means you don't love that person. You just like that person a lot. Real love is not in the singular. Real love is inclusive of all. One love, one heart. We continue on to Shloka 29. Swabhode nanya bhode cha Bodha rupatayatmanaha Nadi pasyanya dipecha Yatha swatma prakashane Swabhode nanya bodhe cha Bodha rupatayatmanaha Nadi pasyanya dipecha Yatha swatma prakashane. Acharya Shankara says here, Swabodha, I am of the nature of Bodha, knowledge or light. Na anya, there's no need, Bodha icha, for another light, for another knowledge. My nature is of the nature of light, so I don't need more light to know my nature. An example of this is, do you need a flashlight to see a flashlight? You don't need another flashlight to see a flashlight. The flashlight is shedding light. More light is not required. So for me too, I don't need an external source to know who I am. And a very simple example of this, if you all turn the lights off in your room and I ask you, are you there? Do you have to get up and turn the light on and then say, yes, I'm there? You don't need that light because the nature of consciousness is light. Bodha rupataya atmanaha. Again, this is because the nature of myself is light. Here, whenever we use the word nature, we should think of causeless. Causeless. Why is sugar sweet? Is there a cause for sugar to be sweet? Why does oxygen make me healthy? Is there a cause for that? And scientifically, yes, you can break it down into why all of this happens, but that's a very boring way to understand what I'm trying to say right now. The nature of sugar is sweet because the nature of sugar is that. The nature of oxygen in my lungs is this nature of synergy to make me healthy. So too, whenever we talk about our nature, it's causeless. This is who you are. You can't use logic to understand this fully. To an extent, yes, but not fully. And since this is causeless, that means this is. That which is causeless is. Existence, does it have a cause? You say yes, then what's the cause for existence? Non-existence. Not possible. Is the cause for existence existence? Why? Why would existence need to cause existence? Existence is causeless, which means existence is. Let's go to awareness. What is the cause for awareness? Can you bring electricity and kinetic energy and radioactive waste and skin cells and thought waves and create awareness? You can't. And did awareness come from non-awareness or ignorance? From my ignorance, awareness has risen. Not caused, which means awareness is. And you're all sort of nodding, I get it, I get it. But where do you think I'm going to go with this next? What's after existence and awareness? Joy, no? Joy is also causeless. And here's where I lose everyone. Of course there's a cause for joy. It's Coca-Cola. It's about being on that show Billions. And on and on and on. Right? We always lose this idea of causelessness. With existence, I get it. Awareness, not so much, but I smile and nod. But when it comes to joy, we're just done. But joy too is causeless. Joy is. We just have to learn to say no, which will come up in the next shloka. Each shloka I tell you, it'll be in the next shloka. At the end of Atma Bodha, you'll learn what's in the next, in the next text. My nature is light. I don't need more light to know my nature. In the third quarter, na deepasya anya deepa icha. A lamp doesn't need another lamp because the nature of that lamp is prakashane. The nature of that lamp is to shine just like myself, swatma. You've heard this thought many times in Atma Bodha, and you've also heard this thought a whole lot when it comes to Vedic chanting. This shloka reminds you of what mantra? I'm going to explain this mantra to you now. Try to take careful notes about this because you've chanted it so many times, and you will chant this so many times. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. I'm going to explain each word now. Na means no. Tatra means there. Na tatra surya, sun. Bhati, light. Na, again no. Chandra, the moon. And taraka, stars. There is no light in the sun and moon and stars. Everyone's with me? This is space. There is no light in space. Next line. Nema vidyuto bhanti kuto yamagnihi. Opening this up. Na ima vidyuta. Vidyuta means lightning. Bhati, light. The same thought is being shared here. There is no light in the lightning that is here. And then finishing this line, kutaha, how? Ayam agnihi. How can there be light in the fire that I'm holding? When do you chant this mantra? When you have an arti thali, correct? You can't chant this mantra without that fire. If you chant it without the fire, then the whole meaning of this goes away. So the second line is saying, there's also not light in lightning, leave alone the fire that I'm holding right now. So no light in the sun, the moon, the stars, lightning, or the fire I have. So you went from light in the space to light in the world. There's no light in space, there's no light in the world. Then what's happening? Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tam. Tam means yours. Eva bhanta. Tameva bhantam. Your light. Anubhati. Illumines all. It is your light. What light are we referring to? Awareness. Consciousness. Atma. Doesn't matter what word you use. It is your light by which there is light in the sun, moon, stars, lightning, fire. That's shared in the last quarter. Tasya bhasa, your light, sarvamidam vibhati. From your light, all other lights shine. What an amazing insight that our rishis had come up with at a very relative level. If you're dead, can you hear thunder? If you're dead, can you see lightning? If you're not paying attention and you're driving and you're not paying attention, you're listening to the radio, do you notice the light of the stars above? If you're dead, you don't know. If you're not paying attention, you don't know. If your nature is not awareness, you definitely don't know then. Awareness is fundamental. All else is functional. That's beautifully shown in this shloka. Here is your sutra. So this is with us in the long run. Selflessness leads to fearlessness. Selflessness leads to fearlessness. Why selflessness leads to fearlessness? Remember in our previous shloka, if you go back to shloka 27, when one knows their nature, they let go of that heavy weight of fear. A selfless person is one who knows that there is more to life than just themselves. They don't just believe in their equipment, they believe in another person's equipment also. It's not just about me eating, it's also about you eating. It's not just about me making money, it's about us making money. You see how when I don't think of my equipment only, when I think about your equipment also, or equipments, I start to free myself of this delusion that I'm just this body, just this mind. And when I start to identify with all bodies, all minds, all intellects, that's called Ishvara, correct? That's called godliness. Selflessness leads to fearlessness. A selfless person works for others, so they don't focus on results. We keep talking about letting go of our focus on results, that we should focus on our actions. But how? When you start to act for others, you enjoy that so much that you actually let go of the results in a most experiential way. Work for others, you forget about the results. Our evolution will be gauged when we are less results-oriented and more responsibility-oriented. You will know that you're flowing with Vedanta, flowing with Atma Bodha, flowing with this shloka when you are more responsibility-oriented. How? Because you see in this shloka, you don't need another light. You're becoming more independent. The thought from shloka 29 is on independence, an independent light. Now that may be too abstract for us, so I'm bringing this to us that the more selfless you become, the more independent you become. The more independent you become, the more this shloka comes to life, no? Selflessness leads to fearlessness, is our sutra. Work for others, you will let go of results. Work for others, you will be more responsibility-oriented. Then, na anya bodha icha. I don't need people to compliment me. I don't need people to be around all the time. I'm independent. Oh.